Hey, what's going on, Victorious Army, Victorious family? How y'all doing today? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're persevering on your spiritual paths. Hope things are starting to go better for you. And today, I wanted to vlog about letting go, the power of letting go. With letting go, right? All of these different, maybe bad terrible situations that may have happened, it's hard to let things go. It's hard, right? Because it's like, why do people do the things that they do? Why is it that they decide to do that, and then not only that, they did it to me, of all people, right? Well, first thing to know, right? If you want to look at it literally, there's probably many reasons why. And then another thing I came to realize is that if you really found out why, like exactly why they decided to do that to you, right? You may not really want to hear the answer, You may not really want to know why they did that to you, exactly why, to a certain degree, right? Or it just may not make sense, right? It may not make sense to you, but I guess it made sense to them, right? But more importantly, right now, looking at things in a more spiritual manner rather than trying to look at it exactly as to why things happen that way. It's best to really realize that that situation really had nothing to do with you in particular, but all to do with them and how they felt that they should go about that, right? It's nothing that you did in particular, but they felt as though they just wanted to hurt you. That sucks, right? People just wanting to hurt you and make you feel like crap, right? And well, the thing I come to really realize about the things that have happened in my experience and my life path is that it's because they also felt like shit too, right? Or maybe somebody did something to them, right? And now they feel they have to do that to you, do that to somebody else, so you can feel their pain, or because they feel like, well, if I couldn't have it, why should they, right? Or if I had to feel this way, maybe they should too, right? And that's not fair. It's not fair at all, right? But why is it important to let these things go? It's important to let these things go because if you keep holding on to all of these negative acts that people did to you, right? All of these bad situations that certain people put you in, you just don't know why, right? Once again, right, the way things happen, everything is energy, right? So for the way things happen, technically they gave you that negative energy, or that situation that came out negative, it was all energy, right? And when you continue to hold on to that, you keep holding on to that energy. And when you do that, that just attracts more of the same, right? Because also, right, we live in a universe of attraction, meaning no matter what you think, right, you're going to attract it, right? So, say for instance, like let's say I saw a car I didn't like, ooh, that car ugly, I don't like that, right? That doesn't mean that because I think that car is ugly, I don't like it, that it's going to, I'm not going to see many more of those cars, right? Because then what could end up happening is that you start seeing more of those cars, right? And then you're just going to keep saying, ew, that car ugly, right? But the thing to really know about it is that instead of thinking about what you don't want, right? Because when you generate the thought in your mind, right, that thought is there. Regardless of what it is, you start to attract it, regardless of what the thought is, right? So if I say, ooh, that car is very cool, right? I'm going to attract seeing more of that car, or maybe more cool cars. It just depends, right? And then also, with the intensity of energy that you said that with, right? With the intensity of energy that you said that with will also determine the potency of how it's drawn to you, or those situations drawn to you like that. So once again, saying all of this to start to say that, right, if you keep thinking about that negative happening, right, that terrible situation, and think about, oh, they just did me dingy and dirty, they just made me feel like crap, or that was so unfair, right? You're gonna, one, keep drawing that thought back to you days and days, right? Or time after time. You're gonna keep drawing that thought back to you. But then also you're going to bring more situations that kind of occur like that because you thought about it and you're attracting it to you, right? But the hardest thing, right, is just to think towards what you want, right? So I would say, for instance, think, I would like more situations to happen in a better way for me, right? So when you think like that, you've already put yourself on a different vibration, different frequency, and then you also are now opening up different thoughts, different energies to come to you for a situation like that to be better, right? To work out better for you. It's wild how all of this comes back to thought and how you think, really. This is very incredible, right? And just knowing that everything is energy, that also starts to change the way you look at things, right? Because energy is everything, right? Like I said previously, right? Just because, right, maybe this blanket here, right, it seems solid. Well, technically, no, it's not. It's just on a lower vibration. And the rate of its vibratory frequency is a lot lower than, say, I don't know, my shirt. Maybe they're about the same, right? Because they're both still pretty solid, right? Versus, my glasses. Everything is constantly moving, constantly in motion. Maybe you can't really see it, but it is. So once again, give you an example, right? So in my life, I believe I stated it before in one of my other vlogs, right? My father thought it was a great idea to beat me with a 2x4, right? To keep hurting me like that physically because he felt like shit, right? And once again, I thought like maybe the exact reasoning of it would only make me more angry at him for doing that, but then more so I would only start to attract bad situations and bad thoughts to me if I kept holding on to all of that negative energy, right? Every once in a while, my mind goes to it, but it's like at this point I just realized, right, he's not here anymore. He cannot hurt me any more than he already has, right? He cannot stop me. He cannot make me do anything I do not want to do, right? Because I am presently here choosing now to think of something better for me rather than think about that situation, right? Because I've already come to peace with it, I already realized it happened. I already realized that tore me up more than I ever thought it would, right? Physically, yeah, and internally, now looking at more spiritual things, right? So now the only thing I can do is fix it. The only thing I can do now is fix the situation, fix the problem for me, right? And once again, right, the first step is accepting that it is, right? Because no matter what, I can't take it back, it happened, right? But then the next step is now moving to solve the problem, right? To stop thinking about that, right? To move on to better thoughts, heal myself from the situation versus holding on to it, right? Give you another example. So recently, I ended up getting in a car accident. And the thing about this accident in particular was that it was not necessarily my fault, but yet I'm still the one who has to go through the repercussions of said incident. Meaning, though it wasn't my fault, what ended up happening was put in my court, right? I'm the one that has to deal with it, right? And the person that caused this accident, right across the street too, which was crazy, right? And crazier thing is, I haven't seen them since that accident, right? That's the other crazy part. But they live right down the street, right? with that accident, I had my little project car I was working on. I was putting in the work. I was maintaining it. I was really feeling good about the situation, and then that happened, right? Because they decided to wave me into traffic, right? And I decided to drive forward and go, because I thought, okay, they're waving me in. Maybe I'm clear. Nah, not at all, right? And I ended up putting someone else into the bushes and things, and that's not good for them either, right? But the thing I come to realize, though the accident was not my fault, right? Because of what ended up happening, I ended up getting into a crash, and I ended up putting someone else into a bad predicament as well, right? So that doesn't necessarily help, right? And then here's where I start to think about letting go, right? Because if I sit here and get angry at the situation, I was doing all that work, I was putting the time into that freaking thing, and then now this happens, and then not only that, they ran off, after causing the accident, right? I can go on forever and get mad about this all day long, but that's not solving the problem, right? That's not putting my car back together, That's not helping the other person I ended up putting into a fence, right? Helping them with their situation, right? And even though they live right down the street from me, right? Thinking about these things don't necessarily help the problem. So what I decided to do, let it go, right? Because getting mad ain't helping the problem. Stewing over the incident ain't gonna make it go away. So the best thing I could do was let go, right? Just let it go. Now, to be honest, I felt so powerless. I really did. Putting all that hard work into that thing, right? Just to see it gone in 5 seconds, maybe 3 to 5 seconds. And it sucks, but I have to figure out now a way to move forward. I have to figure out how to better this situation, not only for me, but the other party that ended up getting injured, right? They didn't get physically injured, but their vehicle got injured, right? I guess the injury to their financial pockets, right? To their finances got injured because of this, right? Mine did, and that other person, right? So once again, instead of getting mad at the person who drove off from the situation, though they caused it, right? Now I have to put it together. And now I have to fix my situation and fix another situation. So once again, now I get to change my thought and start to think, how do I now solve this, right? What can I now do in order to solve this problem? What kind of strategies can I apply to doing better with this, right? Regardless if it wasn't my fault, regardless of how powerless I felt about it, and the best thing I could do was just let it go, right? Right. But instead of viewing letting it go as you feel powerless, right? That's one of the most powerful things you can really do, because you're choosing not to involve yourself in all of that tension and negative energy that's only going to stop you from solving the problem, put you in a worse mindset, lower your frequency and vibration, and ultimately hindering you from fixing the issue, right? So once again, that power of letting go is very, very strong. Now, seeing things spiritual, right? Give an example for me from my personal spiritual journey, right? Since I'm personally into cars, I really enjoy cars. I want to build more. I want to create more. I eventually want to get to the point where I have my own brand of cars. That's my goal, right? But interesting enough, right, after the accident happened, right, at first I was mad, right? I was just in disbelief that that actually happened, right? Like right after the accident, I was like, what? I can't believe this actually happened, right? Let alone this person actually just waved me into traffic, right? These huge 1,000-pound metallic objects moving at fast rates of speed, right? My life could have been in danger, right? I could have ended. The person I hit could have ended, right? A lot of things could have went wrong there. But, right, that was just initially what I was thinking, right? But, right, after a while, after the incident happened, started to calm myself down, right? Then everything, got picked up, moved out the way, but it all went a lot smoother, right? Because I didn't choose to stay within that energy, right? But then another part, as far as the spiritual path, right? I had been looking at a couple different options as to get into for cars or do things to cars, right? Like at that instance, right, I started seeing a whole bunch of different modified cars drive by. You know, it was really weird once I really started to go back and think about it. I just started to see all these modified cars driving by. I started to see classic cars driving by. Like, all right here within this pocket. Like, after this incident happened, I thought that was some weird shit, right? On top of all the weird shit that had just happened. But, right, once again, right, the spiritual lineup of that, right? Like I said earlier, I was looking into some different options for other vehicles, or how to modify my vehicle, or how to, you know, do different things with cars, right? Then though that happened, right, that made me mad. But the thing is, right, afterward, I started to see more of the things I wanted, right? Or more of the things I wanted to get into. And then, if you're up on your angel numbers, right, having different numbers line up for you so you can understand how to maneuver in your spiritual path, right? When I had taken my phone out of my pocket to look, right, I was on time. Weird, huh? Or like I had seen an angel number that was directing me in my path, or at least to know that I'm still within timing, right? So then I started to have other thoughts, right? Like maybe that was supposed to happen. I don't like to think that because it's like, nah, I would rather not. I would rather not, honestly. But, you know, now looking at things more spiritually, maybe that meant something else, right? Though that situation happened and sucked for me and the other person, right? And the person who caused it just went away, right? Now I have a chance to focus differently, right? I didn't actually see the spiritual lineup really until after, right? I noticed I was on time initially in the incident, but I had to think on it again, right? And really put it together that these things started occurring. Some interesting stuff, man. Right? But I started to believe that maybe this is the universe telling me something, you know? Maybe there's something else I need to look forward, or look forward or look into, right? So that's what I chose to do. Right? I'm still putting it all together, but you know, letting that situation go, regardless of what happened, right? Things started to move easier for me rather than sticking in that negative energy and holding on to all of that. So I mean, who knows? Maybe in the future here, some cool things are gonna really happen for me. I just choose to believe so, right? But mainly, the reason I was telling you all of that, right? Let it go, right? Just let it go. Then after you let it go, you change your perception on things, you change your energy from that situation, right? Now you can choose to maneuver differently. Now you can choose to look into the situation a bit differently, right? Instead of just looking at it directly as that's what happened, right? Maybe this was something else that was supposed to occur, or for you to see or understand what was going on, right? So, you know, that's pretty much it. Hope you got a couple of good things from this vlog. Yeah. That's pretty much it, you know. But keep on moving forward on your spiritual path, you know. Start to look at things a bit differently, you know, rather than just getting mad directly at the situation. You know, start to let go more. Start to really have control of your emotions, right? That's what the main thing is with that as well, right? Control your emotions, because these different situations and happenings, you know, they have a great pull on your emotions and on your mind and your mental state, right? So, that being said, you know, continue on strong on your spiritual paths. As always, lead yourself to your greatest victory. Alright, I'm out. Peace.